You know, I just like that. Something has to be lit under my, I need the motivation for it. So I need a reason. It was just, I was just a rebel without a pause. My dog's a rebel with pause. I think that was the reason, pretty much. But I remember like saying, "Hey, so like okay, how do you get there and how do you do it?" I just knew where they were, where they're gonna be on like a week or 10 days, whatever. And he said, "Yeah, I can get there." Like it was nothing or something. Like he like knew them or something, and we were just like, "Yeah, right." Like, and I kind of just said, and he goes, dude, fuck you guys are fucking so dumb. Like, and you just doing it, and you have this younger guy there who's like 10, 12, whatever, and you say you're so young and stupid, and we were like we were those guys, and he goes, dude, scalpers, and we're like, what? And my friend like grabbed his hair, like, oh my god, you scalp us. He's no, numbnuts. He calls like numbnuts and all these names, a dumbass, and you guys like get a little smack in the head. You did. Really, legitimately, people are like, yeah, right. No, go X Men at a time. Like, they were allowed to do that. Your brother's good friends, and we all knew each other. It was very normal, like, mm. Evil back tech, and this whole back tech said, scalpers, bro, like, ticket sellers, man. And like, he didn't tell us they were fake tickets or anything like that. All we knew is that, and because my friends didn't believe me, but now I'm grounded. So I'm like, so how I talked to him, I'm like, listen, man, I'm punished. I told him the truth, and you had to because you could just have your parents drop you off and chaperone you. This is what you had to, but they didn't do that back then. Like you didn't like we just didn't go to shows. I mean, my brothers had already gone and saw the aliens, or what was spaceship. They went off in like a spaceship. They just we thought like we just didn't know anything because we didn't know those sounds that could come out of something. We just thought they were so cool. That's all we knew, and um, and I remember like him saying, yeah, like I can get a loan from somebody, or but your brother owes me money, or something like that. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that's true. Like he's lying. I started to not believe it now, and like he was bullshitting, but he wasn't. He came back, yeah, totally for like it was like $150 or $200, and at that time it was like a lot of money. Now it's like nothing, and he comes and the day arrives. I remember, and I say he tells us Pabs. He made up this story about how like his fucking folks were gonna call my folks and tell them that I was going over there to be disciplined like by their cop dad. And my father knew them. We all knew them. Like he just died, God rest his soul. Not my dad. He's been gone for a long time. But he's just passed away like maybe 2 years, and he was cool. I just his fucking dude. This cat's brother, dude, was so funny. He's still funny to this day, and like I love that guy. He's just like this small dude, but like big things going his whole baggage, man. It's true. And he was just like, just cracks me up. And I'm like, what are we gonna do? And then he told his parents, he goes, we're totally not doing that. Like that's what he told them. Something about like me getting to come over until 12, and like they were gonna, like his father was a cop. He's gonna lecture me about doing good in school, which I fucking hated, which I didn't hate when I got to college because I was more independent and stuff. But I'm like, dude, like, we're fucked. What the fuck you mean? You lied? Are you stupid? Like, are you out of your mind? Like, dude, my dad, like, he's gonna shoot me. Like, this is the thoughts you had. Your dad's a Marine, and I mean, I have a huge military family. It wasn't just that he was a Marine. It was like his dad, his dad, all his siblings. We had 10 siblings back then. It was like they were all in the wars, and I'm like, like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Are you out of your fucking mind, dude? I'm like, fuck. My dad is I'll be either punished for life, probably, like, really, it was like a life sentence you thought you were gonna get. I got a year once. But, like, not in prison, but at home jail, which was, like, bad because all you had was the television, and if that, was running. I don't know. I didn't do the whole year. My mom stepped in. She's like, all right, he's done enough. It was like 4 or 5 months, which was still decent amount of time when you were a kid. But my dad had to send the message, I got it. And I still to this day, put these dumb glasses on or whatever, so, but I remember like that day came in, and I remember like it was fucking cold because I'm a January birthday, and I'm a January, but I love the winter like 'cause it's my birthday, you know. Yay me! So I remember like being outside, just free. It was fucking cold, and I remember just going like, guys, Jesus Christ, I hope he shows up. Like like you just so young and dumb. Like I mean, like really stupid at that young, And he like showed up with these tickets, and I'm like, he's like, here, man, Dad. And I said, dude, how the fuck are you? Dude, chill the fuck out. Shut the fuck up, you stupid fuck. Shut up. Like this is how people talk to each other in my town in that time. Legit. Ask anybody. He goes, I'm just gonna come get you. Just walk the fuck out right here. And he was right. Like, yeah, I guess you're right. You're right. He was like teaching us, like, my brothers weren't cool, So, like, and I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like, he was just getting the guy the day. The guy's gonna show you to your seat. I'll be right there. I'm like, you better show up, man. My brother's gonna kill you, man. Like, I think I wouldn't tell him. We just had to figure it out. But you hitchhiked back then. It's like, no way you'd do that. Yes, we would have done that because I had to get back to my house. Because now he lied to his parents. So what the fuck were we gonna do? So I'll get to that in a minute. So remember, like, he took his takes me hand. I'm like, we're inside this building where the aliens are gonna be, and they're gonna arrive and they're gonna play, and And I remember, like, we didn't know what to do. Like, how do you act at a concert? This is how young I was. And I remember, like, the lights went off, man. And the magic was about to happen. Like, the aliens are here. And, like, shit was about to go down. And the way he told the shit, you gotta see it. He said, well, when you have these dancers, he goes, the music should look like it sounds. And David's telling the story. And, like, it all makes sense now. And I'm watching this, like, how many years later? And, like, the music should look like that. And he goes, when you mix the martial arts with big rock, you get that woof, and like he went woof. He's like, did you feel that? Like, and like I might have actually said close to those words. Like, I'm just like, I couldn't understand what was going on. Like, we were in this place and these guys were coming out, I'm like, I think I was more scared of what my dad was going to do to me, like, probably what my parents were going to do. I didn't think I was going home that night. Like, I was just going to run away again. I just ran away a lot. And when you're an artist, not an artist, you kind of tend to not like your parents. It's just weird stuff. But, yeah, I'm the exception. So, dude, like, that, they all looked at me. We all looked at each other like, what do we do? Like, do we, they all looked at me like, say my first name. I think my name's on the YouTube page. It'd be weird if people stalk me, but it looked me up. That's be odd. So I don't do shit like that. I'm just older, and and I'm like, those names. They're a leader in a war. Richard is a very powerful name. Also, I can be a dick, which is cool. It's like I'm official. So if I want to be, and get away with it. So they're looking at me like, what are we doing? Like, and then that like hit me like that whiplash. But now they were like in me, like the aliens. I was just like, what the fuck? I'm like, we go not like we scream. Like, hey, that's why I don't know what to do. We didn't know what to do. And kind of just do what everybody else does, man. And I just kind of did something, and I just was like, dude, these guys, man. I swear to, honestly, you don't remember much at that time. Like, but you remember, like, you have selective memory, Remember what you want to remember. And let me tell you something, man. You don't forget that. Woof, woof. And, like, did you feel that? Like, yeah, like, legitimately. Look at my arm, man. Look at those goosebumps. They're all, every time I do it, this cat has me saying it, like, I saw them, like, like 2 years later it wasn't the same. That band was never the same when Dave left. People could argue that, but you know what? Because, Dave's more of a dick. Like, is he? Is he? Like, if you go watch Howard Stern, he's on Howard Stern defending Edward. And I get to say these things. Like, I lived both shit. And like, when you live in that time, like, you did get away with murder. Like, Molly Cruz telling the stories, like, these girls had, like, distributor cap, like, in the back, like, naked. And it was crazy shit went on. Like, he's like, we were like, you win. We'll go back to that crazy fuck you all or it was something like that. It was really such a funny guy. And I'm like, yeah, like crazy shit. And I'm like, the story is not over. And I remember like this, they went and they left. So I need a second. I can't express like the insanity of this story and like the unbelievableness of it, like that it happened and he did it. Like we didn't have any like that wasn't recollection. It was more like there wasn't any desire to like meet them. We were scared, like we were young and really really stupid. And not that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pretty smart. Mm. Smart enough to have enough common sense to know that this had to fucking be done. My life would not be the same. Like it would change the whole course of probably what I did for a living. Like I'm into music and I remember like, oh, this is for that dweeb. Listen, I have intelligent people I talk to online, not dweeb. This one dweeb said like, learn to spell, dude. I have a master's in English. Like just for your, I would decimate you and like. I don't do that. I'm old. Like really. Like legitimately. Like it's over. You're old. You did it all. You did it all. And now you just make your money, whatever you do. And I'm like, I don't do argue people online. I'm old. I don't even want to go out with chicks. I don't give a fuck. Like you're to the age where you just don't give a shit. Like I saw the aliens, Van Halen. You didn't. Like I win. You're like, he's got a point. Yeah. And I'm a dick and I can say that and get my name's Rich. So I'm official. So basically people are like, why tell a story? I'm like, why not? It's the only story I got. And it's probably like the most insane. It's not over. So people are like, so how did you like get home and get, so I said, yeah, how do you, well, your friends fuck him. I don't give a fuck. He said, what the fuck happens to them? And like, I couldn't really argue with him. Like, I don't think they cared. I mean, I think they did well enough to like, squeak by their parents, like they could make up a story and like but my dad was like very street smart and like and if you got caught, man, doing shit, like you were in big shit. You got the shit kicked out of you. And I meant like tough love, not like hate love, and like he's like, you know what? I'll just say like I'll I'm gonna bring you into the house. Tell my parents, like, you just need this, and they're gonna say no. I'm gonna call your parents, and just sneak through the fucking basement window, unlatch it. This is before they even went to the show, and I remember, like, in my work, actually, and I had this concrete floor in the basement. Like, we never redid the basement. It looked like that basement where, murders happen. It was bad. Like, we didn't have a lot of money, So, my parents never finished college or nothing like that, so, like... And like, I remember like my work, like that's all that is gonna happen. They are gonna call them on the home line. There's no cell phones too back then, and like, and I remember leaving it open just enough for me to get in that because I had a couch. You might say, "Oh, you hit the concrete." No, there was like a couch down there, and it was a bad couch. Well, I didn't care. I remember being this like never going to sleep. This is a fucking weeknight, and I had to go to school the next day, and at 10 years old, and I remember seeing my friends, and I'm just like, dude, man, like, that, like, our minds are so blown, like, I kind of like that we pulled it off, but like that we saw the aliens, man, they were, man, like, legitimately, like, now I'm gonna get, like, serious, like, Van Halen is, like, really, like, they were aliens, man. Like, when you're that young and they go off, like, you didn't hear what they did for a year. Like, you didn't know what they were doing. You didn't see things like you do today. Like, oh, like, they for breakfast. Like, none of that was, I don't know what the word is, prevalent, maybe. There wasn't prevalent. Like, there wasn't... you just couldn't wait for the next album come out, but you didn't know what they were doing. They didn't stay in the press. I mean, Dave was pretty smart. He kept it very secretive, and I'm glad they kept his death a secret because, you don't want to remember him like that. Like, Patrick Swayze was, like, releasing photos of him, and I'm like, that's terrible. Like, the guy was, like, loved by so many chicks and did great movies, and it made him look like a fucking like that, that bad. Like he didn't want to see somebody in that state. Saw my father in that state. It's not a big place you want to see one of your parents, or whether they, I don't know. It was weird. I didn't really like my parents, but artists, hardest are hardest. But this is for that cop guy, because I mean, his story was crazy, crazy. And I'm like, man, I kind of got one of those. So